welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today is going to be my Championship Week 9 score predictions. So of course, we've not had some score predictions last week, as of course we did have an international break. So I think I speak for everyone when I say thank God that this weekend we do have Championship football back. And it's a big weekend to jump back into the Championship, guys. We have some local derbies going on this weekend and some pretty mad fixtures. So if you guys haven't seen this series before, let me quickly explain what it's all about. So every week I give you guys my Championship score predictions for what I think the results will be with each game going on in the Championship. FIFA 18 also makes their score predictions, but what I'm really interested to know is what you guys have to say. So make sure you do leave your score predictions in the comments down below. I'll leave all the fixtures that are taking place this weekend in the description, and then you guys can easily go ahead and make your predictions. And then if you do manage to get any of your score predictions correct, I will include your comment at the start of the next video. So like I said, guys, this weekend in the Championship we've got a lot of games to talk over, so without further ado, guys, let's jump into some of the games. And so our first game is a game taking place tonight, guys. That is a game taking place between Birmingham and Cardiff City. So of course this will be Steve Cottrell's first game in charge of Birmingham, and I think it's fair to say he's not going to be inheriting a side which will be soaring on confidence at the moment. Of course, it's an interesting proposition about the challenge Steve Cottrell has got at Birmingham. Of course, coming up against top of the league in Cardiff, it won't be an easy game, but one thing I will say is that Birmingham will be aided in this one. I think they've got both Jota and Che Adams both returning to the squad after they've been out with injuries, so Birmingham's attack in recent weeks without them has been pretty limp, so they'll be good additions who could cause Cardiff some problems going forward. And with a new manager coming in, you tend to get a bit of a momentum swing, and that could work in Birmingham's favour for this one. So for this game, I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw. FIFA saying 0-0. Then our next game is another fixture taking place tonight on Friday night, guys. That is a game between Bristol City and Burton Albion. Now, looking at the form book for this one, if you do go off form, then it should be a sure thing for this one. In Burton Albion's last 2 games, they've actually lost them both by 4-0, and considering they are coming up against one of the league's top scorers this season in Bristol City, you've got to be backing the Bristol City victory surely. But one thing I will say about this is that Burton are the type of team to, whenever you do put them down sort of and predict them to be on the end of a battering, they always seem to come back with something. So I don't anticipate it to be a rollover for Bristol City. I think Burton will look to make it quite tight from minute 1 in this one, but if some of Bristol City's attacking flair players can get to their full potential of what we all know they can play at, this should be a Bristol City win. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 home victory for Bristol City, whereas FIFA saying it'll be 0-0. And then our next game does feature 2 sides who I think have been fairly inconsistent so far this season. The game taking place at Oakwell is between Barnsley and Middlesbrough. Now, of course, Middlesbrough currently located 11th in the Championship. Definitely a lot lower than a lot of people will have been predicting for them at this stage of the season. Of course, we are still fairly early on in the season, but if Middlesbrough really do want to put in that promotion push, which their transfer window suggested they would do, they really do need to start picking up a few wins now and rolling into a bit of momentum. But it's not going to be an easy game at Oakwell. Barnsley have had a decent home record so far this season. Before the international break, they were a little bit stuttery in terms of their form. However, they will be high on confidence after that 3-1 victory they got against Millwall. But Gary Monk, I'm still not convinced that he knows his best Middlesbrough side yet, but despite that, I will go with Middlesbrough to just edge this one by 2-1. And our next game, guys, is between Bolton Wanderers and Sheffield Wednesday. So of course, Bolton's still the only side in the Championship to yet pick up a victory. Will this be the week, guys, where Bolton finally go ahead and do it? I'd be interested to see if anyone is predicting a Bolton victory for this one. But of course, Sheffield Wednesday before the international break had a little bit of differing form. You know, they obviously had that Derby Day defeat and a couple other poor results, but they managed to bounce back with a very impressive 3-0 victory over Leeds. And of course, when Sheffield Wednesday do play to their full potential, they are one of the best sides in the Championship. With some of their attacking players they've got at the moment, you know, Gary Hooper being in sparkling form, considering how many goals Bolton have actually conceded this season, I'm going to go with a 2-0 away victory for Sheffield Wednesday. I feel like their attack will just have a bit too much for Bolton in this one. I'll say 2-0 Wednesday. FIFA saying 0-0. Our next game is quite an interesting one to go ahead and predict. I'm interested to see how you guys think this game will go ahead and finish. This matchup is taking place between Brentford and Millwall. Now, of course, Brentford not having the best start to the season, of course, lingering around the bottom of the table, and Millwall being quite a surprise package, actually, to the Championship, being promoted from League One. But I do get the impression that after this international break now, I get that gut feeling that Brentford may go on a little bit of run and start to pick up a little bit of momentum. In the last 4 games, they are unbeaten, winning 1 and drawing 3. Millwall as well haven't been the best side this season on the road. Their away record isn't the best when you compare it to how they played at home this season. However, this game, I'm anticipating there to be quite a few goals in this one, actually. I think both attacks have quite a bit going forward. Defensively, I think there's a couple questions to be asked, but I think that going forward, both of them have potential. So I'm going to predict a big scoring 3-2 victory to Brentford in this one. Whereas FIFA saying it'll be another 0-0. Then our next game is between Fulham and my club Preston North End. So quite an interesting game to go ahead and predict for this one, of course. Preston currently sat higher in the Championship, but Fulham will be no easy customers for Preston in this one, of course. They've won their last 2 games, and going forward, they really do seem to be turning some of those wasted opportunities at the start of the season into goals now. And so that's a little bit of a worrying concern from a Preston fan's perspective. But considering Preston do have the tightest defence in the league, this is an interesting battle against attack against defence in this one. Adding to that as well, Ben Pearson should be back in contention for this game, which will be a huge bolster into our midfield. I think we really have missed him in recent weeks. But despite that, I'm not taking Fulham lightly. They will be a tough side to go up against. And considering how many draws Fulham have had this season, I think this game could follow a similar pattern. So for this game, I'm going to predict it to be a 1-1 draw, whereas FIFA saying it'll be 1-0 Fulham. Then into our next game, we do then have Leeds United, who are coming up against Reading. And both of these two sides, obviously at different stages in the table, but in my opinion, both of them could really do with a victory in this one. In their last 2 games, they've actually both lost them, so both of them not coming into this game with the greatest sense of momentum. And of course, Leeds will be desperate to get back to the way they were playing probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, when they really started to roll over teams. And of course, Reading currently lingering really close to the relegation zone. They'll be desperate not to let their standards slip any further than they already have from last season. But considering some of Leeds' flair players going forward, I get the impression that they may start to click. This international break probably was needed for Leeds. They weren't in the greatest of run before it did happen. So in my opinion, this will be, I'm going to say 3-1 Leeds, guys. I think that they may get back to their best in this one with some of their attacking players. It may be a bit too much for Reading going forward. So I'm going to go ahead and predict a 3-1 Leeds victory. FIFA saying 0-0. Then for our next game, guys, we do then have Norwich, who are coming up against Hull City. So at this point in time in the Championship, Norwich are probably one of the form sides in the Championship. So for Hull to be going away at this point in time to Carrow Road, definitely not going to be an easy one for them. But they should be coming into this one with a lot of confidence themselves after that 6-1 demolishing of Birmingham at home last time. But Hull City so far this season have been fairly inconsistent, I think that's fair to say. Their record on the road this season as well hasn't been the greatest, and considering Norwich's home form of late, they've not been shipping a lot of goals, Norwich, so I can't see Hull, you know, going ahead and grabbing 6 goals again. And considering just how inconsistent at times Hull have been, I get the impression that this may be a slim 1-0 home victory for Norwich. So I'm going to say 1-0 Norwich, FIFA same, 1-1. And then our next game, guys, is taking place between Sheffield United and Ipswich Town. And I'd be quite interested to hear from both Sheffield United and Ipswich fans as to what do you think the rest of the season holds for you teams, as both have been pretty much dark horses to the Championship this season, of course. Sheffield United currently sat 3rd in the table. No one was predicting that at the start of the season, really. And similarly to Ipswich Town as well, a lot of people anticipating them to struggle at the start of the season. They've shown that won't be the case, so I'd be interested to hear as to what you guys think holds for the rest of the season. But in terms of this game, both sides did have a loss before the end of the international break, so it'll be an interesting one to see who can bounce back and get to form. I get the impression it'll be Sheffield United, and I think they may do it with just a 2-1 victory. Then our next game, guys, is between Sunderland and QPR, and once again, quite a hard game to predict this one, in my opinion, of course, Sunderland, they really don't have the best home form in the Championship. You have to go quite a way back, actually, to go ahead and look at the last victory they got at home. So they'll be desperate to put that record to an end as soon as possible. But they're coming up against a QPR side who have been pretty tricky customers so far this season for a lot of teams in the Championship. One thing I will say about Sunderland is in their last game against Preston, that was probably one of the first times in quite a while where Sunderland have really put in a spirited team performance. You know, they look very resilient at the back in that game, and they look like they were all going towards the same purpose. You know, in recent years for Sunderland, it's been a very sort of individualistic sort of club where bad egos and bad tempers have really got the better of them. But in the game against Preston before the international break, that wasn't the case. So I'm interested to see if they can carry on and translate that into some form in the Championship. But in terms of how I see this game panning out, I get the impression that this one will end as a 1-1 draw. So I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw. FIFA same. 1-0 Sunderland. And then for the next game, guys, we have a big game going on as the evening kickoff on Saturday. That is taking place between Wolves and Aston Villa. Now, for this one, I am very interested to get your guys' opinions on what you think will go ahead and unfold in this game here today. Of course, both teams have goals in them. I think I have to say that from the offset. And both on their day play very attractive football. So I think this could be a decent spectacle as long as both sides are really going for the victory in this one. And I get the impression that they will, you know. A draw wouldn't really suit either side in my opinion, so it would make sense for both of them to go ahead and go for the victory, you know. Speaking of Aston Villa, they've been one of the form sides in the Championship before the international break, and of course with Wolves currently sat second in the league, this is going to be a very interesting spectacle. But in terms of how I think this game will go ahead and unfold, I think that both attacks have the potential to score a few goals in this one. You know, Kodja looks to be really on good form lately. Davis for Aston Villa has been superb, and Albert Adoma as well will cause a whole lot of problems for the Wolves defence. And similarly with Wolves as well, with players linking up going forward like Helder Costa, Bonatini and Jota, there is goals in this game. So I'm going to go ahead and predict a 2-2 draw for this game. I could be wrong with that one, but I'm saying 2-2, FIFA same, 2-0 Villa. And then guys, our last game of the weekend taking place on Sunday is the big one this weekend, guys. We have the local derby taking place between Derby County and Nottingham Forest. So I've got no doubt there will be quite a bit of debate between fans of these two clubs in the comments down below. So I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys think this game will go ahead and pan out. But looking over the record actually of this derby in the last 10 or so years, it is Derby actually who have quite a superior record to Nottingham Forest. So Forest of course will be looking to put an end to that and really looking to go at Derby, and they do have the options now going forward especially to cause quite a few problems for this Derby side, and neither of them have been the most consistent so far this season, so it's a good opportunity to springboard some momentum into the rest of the season. But I just get a gut feeling for this one that it may be Derby's day once again. I think that at home this season, when they really have turned it on going forward, they can cause a lot of problems, and with a few little mistakes which still need ironing out at Forest at the back, Derby could take advantage of that. Of course, the same could be said the opposite direction. Forest going forward have been sparkling at times this season, but nevertheless, I'm going to predict a 3-2 home victory for Derby. I'm looking forward to watching this game. FIFA same, it'll be a ball draw. So guys, there you have it for my Championship Week 9 score predictions. What do you think will happen in the Championship this weekend, guys? Let me know down below. But apart from that, guys, that will now wrap it up for this video. So if you have enjoyed, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you check out all the other links in the description down below. But apart from that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.